Calvin Castine at the Bowl Mart just outside of beautiful downtown Rouse's Point. It's the second day of May 2006, and we're here for the annual King of the Hill competition. And this year there's going to be a female participant that I think has made the top 5. As long as you bowled in the men's league, you're eligible to participate in this. We hope to have the voice of bowling in the North Country, Chris Welch, replacing the former voice, Jim Tierney, of course, but the new voice of bowling in the North Country, Chris Welch, up here to tell us all about it. King of the Hill 2006 at the Bowl Mart Lanes, just outside of Rouse's Point.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody here to the 2005-2006 King of the Hill tournament. We just started the stepladder finals as Mike Mangarolo throws a strike on lane 11 to start it off. Mike was the 4th qualifier, shooting a score of 909. Up on lane number 12 is Charlie Moore, who qualified 5th. As Charlie comes in and leaves a solid 10 pin. The gentleman to qualify bowled 4 games across 8 lanes. Top 5 qualified. And this is the match between number 4 and number 5. The winner of this match will move on to face John Roberts. Charlie goes for his 10 pin and he'll just miss it on the left, so he gets 9 for the frame. Charlie. Okay, Charlie working on an open up on lane 11. And he pulls it across his body. He gets 6 pins, leaving the 1, 3, 8, 9. Charlie, who bowls in the Monday Night Wyeth Men's League, carries an average of 177. So he's got 29 pins of handicap. But he'll be giving Mike 7 pins tonight. As Charlie gets 3 of 4, getting 9 for the frame, so he has 18 after 2. Which will bring up Mike Mangarillo on lane 12. Mike also bowls in the Monday Night Wyeth Men's League. Mike has an average of 169, so he gets 36 pins of handicap. So Charlie's giving him 7. As he was working on a strike, and he comes up a little high, leaving the 4 pin. As Mike going for his 4 pin. And he will convert it. So that gives him a spare in the 2nd frame. As he leads Charlie by roughly 30 pins after 2 frames with his handicap. As he'll be up on lane 11, working on a spare. And he puts it a little light in the pocket, getting 7 pins, leaving the 2, 4, 8. We'd like to thank Calvin Castine and Hometown Cable for, again, taping the King of the Hill as he does annually. It was a short notice for him. We called him up earlier tonight to see if he could make it. As Mike goes for his spare, he pulls it across, getting 2 of the 3, getting 9 for the frame. So he's got 46 after 3, and he leads Charlie by 26 pins as Charlie goes up working on an open, trying to cut the lead. And Charlie puts it right in the pocket and leaves a wiggling 10 pin. Charlie tries to get his first mark of the match and he misses it. So he gets 9 for the frame. So after 3 completed frames, Mike leads Charlie by 26 pins with his handicap. As Charlie is looking for his first mark of the match. And he'll go up on lane 11. And comes in a little light, doesn't quite get back to the head pin, leaving the 1-2 spare. And Charlie will try to get his first mark of the match. And he will miss, getting 9 for the frame again. That gives him 36 after 4. As Charlie is struggling to start the match, he bowled very well in qualifying. As Mike Mangarillo is up on lane number 12. As Mike comes in a little high, gets a good break, just leaving the 4-7. As of March this year, the Ross's Point Men's Association does not exist anymore, as everybody has merged. Plattsburgh, Chateauguay, Keysville, and Ross's Point, as we are now all one association. Mike goes for his spare, and he will convert. He gets his spare. So next year you might see some bowlers you don't normally see bowling in this, as everybody will be part of one association, men and women. Mike working on a spare, up on lane 11, and comes in a little light, leaving the 2-4-5, as the bowlers seem to be struggling on lane 11, not getting the ball up to the head pin. Just have to make a slight adjustment. Mike goes for his spare, but he gets 2 of the 3, getting 9 for the frame, as both bowlers are struggling early in this match. As Mike leads Charlie by 34 pins. Mike is 1 frame ahead. Charlie puts it in the pocket and he gets his first mark of the match, as he left 2 10 pins in that lane before, made a little bit of adjustment to get his ball to finish, and it worked. Charlie working on a strike, crosses over and leaves the 5 pin. Well, if Charlie can pick this up, he will cut Mike's lead to 23 pins. As Charlie will pick up his spare, so the lead is now 23 pins for Mike Mangarillo, as Mike will be up on lane 12, working on an open. Mike pulls it across again, leaving the baby split, the 3-10. Again, the winner of this match will move on to meet the 3rd qualifier, which was John Roberts. Cassie Roberts qualified 2nd, and Jamie Sterling was our top qualifier this evening. Mike makes the spare. Nice spare by Mike Mangarillo, just how you're supposed to pick it up.
Yeah, you drink all mine.
Is that all right? Mike working on a spare and crosses over. He leaves the 5 pin. Both bowlers just can't seem to get anything going. As Mike will just throw a strike ball again to get this spare. And he will convert his spare. So This match is still pretty close, about a 22-23 pin lead for Mike Mangarillo. As Charlie Moore will get up for the 7th frame on lane number 12, working on a spare. As Charlie puts it right in the pocket, and again leaves a solid 10 pin. So right now, after 6 completed frames, the lead is 23 pins for Mike Mangarillo. As Charlie needs to spare this to keep that at 23 pins. And he just gets the 10 pin. So he spares in the 7th frame, and the lead is 23 pins, as there was a pin down in lane 11, so Charlie has to reset his lane.
Should point out, Chris, that Mike Mangarillo wouldn't have got that spare because he cleans his ball every time, and he wouldn't have had enough dust on it to get that spare.
That's true. As we back to bowling, as Charlie is up on lane number 11. We got the lane fixed finally. And he leaves the 1-2 spare, getting 8 on his count. As Charlie needs to keep marking to keep the pressure on Mike. The winner of this match again moves on to face John Roberts in the next one. And the loser will receive $25, as we had a prize pool of $460 to be divided up between the 5 bowlers. As Charlie spares in the 8th frame. The winner tonight will receive $180 and the title of being this year's King of the Hill. Mike is up on lane number 12. As Mike comes in a little high, leaving the 3-6-7 split. As he gets a 7 count on his spare, so Charlie picks up another pin. And if Mike misses this, it's going to be almost a dead even match.
I think at this point with the ears, I gotta save $300 there.
And Mike chops the 2 pins to get 1 for the frame. So he opens in the 8th frame. He's got 116 scratch. He goes up in the 9th frame, and his lead is roughly 10 pins, depending what Charlie does. As he will be up on lane 11 for the 9th frame, his foundation frame. And he puts one right in the pocket and gets a strike. So a good 9th frame for Mike as he strikes. Both bowlers are struggling a little bit this game, as they bowled very well in qualifying. But sometimes it's a little different once the camera's on. Charlie working on a spare. Bowl his 9th frame. And it goes across to Brooklyn, leaving the 9 pin. So after 8 completed frames, Mike leads Charlie by 11 pins. As Charlie must pick up his spare to have any chance in the 10th frame. Charlie goes for his spare, and he will pick it up. So he spares in the 9th frame. He'll move over to lane 11 for the 10th frame. Again, both these gentlemen bowl in the Monday Night Wyeth Men's League. Both of them had very good years this year. That's Charlie up. To start the 10th frame, down 11 pins, working on a spare. And comes in high, leaving the 4-6. As that will pretty much seal up the match, unless Charlie can make it. If not, all Mike has to do is keep the ball on the lane. And if he does, he'll move on. And as Charlie gets 1 of the 2, if Charlie throws a 139, and all Mike Mangarillo has to do is get 4 pins on 2 balls. If he does, he'll move on against John Roberts. As Mike comes in light in the pocket, leaving the bucket, the 2, 4, 5, 8. So that'll be enough as he will move on to face John Roberts in the next match. And Charlie Moore will receive $25 for 5th place. Going for his spare, and he will convert, so he'll get one more ball. Try to get a line for his next match. As Mike finishing up his game, puts one right in the pocket, getting lined up possibly for the next game. So he gets a strike, giving him 156. So he beats Charlie Moore with the handicap 163 to 139. And we'll be right back for match number 2. Okay, we're ready for match number 2 between Mike Mangarillo and John Roberts. John Roberts was the 3rd qualifier tonight with a score of 918. As he'll get up, throw his first frame, and he gets a strike. As Johnny is giving Mike 27 pins. Johnny bowls in the Monday night Wyeth Men's League and the Tuesday night Pepsi-Cola Classic League. And his average is 200 on the nose. As Mike throws a strike on lane number 12 to start his game. Again, the winner of this match will move on to the semifinals against Cassie Roberts, and the loser will receive $55. As Mike working on a strike on lane 11, trying to throw a double. And comes in a little light, leaving just the 2-pin. Again, we had 23 bowlers who bowled this year. We had a few that were former King of the Hill champions. And we had 3 women who bowled this year because they bowled in men's leagues and were eligible to bowl. As Mike will pick up his spare. So he starts off with a strike and a spare, and John Roberts will be up on lane 12, working on a strike. And then heavy in the pocket, leaving the 3, 6, 10. Johnny will go for his spare, and he will convert, so he remains 27 pins down to Mike Mangarillo as he'll move over to lane 11 for the 3rd frame. Again, we'd like to thank Calvin Castine and Hometown Cable. You know, Calvin cut short his school board meeting tonight to be here for 8:30, and I kind of lied to him because we didn't start till 9 o'clock. As Johnny comes up high again, crosses over and gets a strike. So John Roberts strikes in the 3rd frame. And I'll bring up Mike Mangarillo for his 3rd frame on lane 12. So again, we'd like to thank Calvin, especially on short notice because we called him, I believe at 6 o'clock. See if he can make it. And we appreciate him coming down and videotaping this for us. As Mike comes in light, leaving the 2-7-8 split. The split is much easier for a right-hander, as he'll just try to hook the ball across to get all 3. And almost gets 2 of the 3, so he gets 9 for the frame. So that gives him 46 after 3 frames. As he'll move over to lane 11 for his 4th frame. And comes up a little light in the pocket, but he gets the mixer, so he gets a strike for his 4th frame. So John Roberts will be up on lane 12 working on a strike. Has a chance to cut the lead to roughly 3 or 4 pins if he can strike on this ball. And he comes up high, crosses over again, leaving the 9 pin. Johnny will go for his spare, and he will pick it up. So he spares in the 4th frame. So after 3 completed frames, John Roberts is down 13 pins as he's working on a spare. He moves over to lane 11 for his 5th frame. As Johnny comes in light, just about the same hit as Mike just had, and gets the same result, a strike. So now Mike Mangarillo will be up on lane number 12, working on a strike, having a chance to increase his lead.
Yeah, it's moving pictures.
As Mike drops his shoulder, comes up high on the head pin, leaving the 3, 6, 10. As Mike goes for his spare, and he'll convert. So after 4 completed frames, again it's still a 13 pin lead for Mike Mangarillo with his handicap.
You can come back tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night.
So Mike working on a spare, comes up light in the pocket again on lane 11, but again gets a strike. So I'll bring up John Roberts with a Dutch 200 game going. He alternates his strikes and spares. He's up on lane number 12 working on a strike. Has a chance to cut Mike's lead to 3 pins. As Johnny comes up right in the pocket, getting his strike, so he gets a double. See how you move over for the 7th frame on lane number 11. You know, this is just about a dead even match right now. As Johnny working on a double, triples up, gets his turkey. So now Mike Mangarillo moves over to lane 12, working on a strike, needing to strike to keep even with Johnny. Again, the winner of this match will meet Cassie Roberts. As Mike comes up high again, leaving the 4, 7, 10. Right now, Mike will change to his spare ball, go cross lanes, just to get the 2 pins. If he happens to get 3, that's good. Right now, he's just trying to get 2, which will give him 4 because he's working on a strike. And he does. He gets 2 of the 3. So now, for the first time, he trails John Roberts. So he moves over for the 8th frame. on lane 11. Working on an open. And comes up light, leaving the 2-4-5. Well, Mike gonna try to pick up his spare, keep this a close match. Yes, he misses it, getting one of the three. So he has 122 after 8 frames. As John Roberts has the lead, working on 3 in a row. He's on lane number 12 for his 8th frame. Yes. Johnny comes in, leaving the solid 10 pin. As John Roberts is a former King of the Hill champion. Trying to add another title. He's up, trying to pick up the 10 pin. And he will convert. So after 7 completed frames, he leads Mike Mangarillo by 18 pins, with a chance to make it 28 right here with a strike, because he's working on a spare. And he comes up high and crosses over and gets a strike.
Can't take that. Reset that.
So Mike Mangarillo will be up on lane number 12 for his 9th frame, trailing by 30 pins. And the best Mike can do is 182 if he strikes out. And puts it a little high in the pocket, leaving the 4-7. And so he'll try to go cross lanes to pick up his spare. And he will cross over and pick it up. So he spares in the 9th frame. As he will move over to lane number 11 for the 10th frame. The best he can do is 172. So all John Roberts would have to do is keep the ball on the lane. As Johnny will go up. And Mike leads a 2-4-5, so this match is over. So John Roberts will go up to finish up, to move it along. And he will move on to meet Cassie Roberts in a very interesting matchup there. As Johnny strikes and start his 10th frame, and Mike Mangarillo will finish 4th, receiving $55. And he spares. John throws another strike in the 10th frame. Mike will throw his fill ball on lane 11. Yeah. And comes up light in the pocket, getting a strike, so he finishes with 159. With his handicap, that is 186. And John Roberts, finishing up his game, gets another strike for a nice 239. And he'll go on to meet Cassie Roberts in the next match.
Same score. Yeah. I had to get even with him somehow.
As we're ready for match number 3 between John Roberts and Cassie Roberts. As Johnny will go up to start the game. And he will cross over and get a strike.
That's only 4.
As he gives Cassie 21 pins. Cassie will be up on lane number 11. Cassie comes in with an average of 176 as she only bowled half a year in the Pepsi-Cola Classic League on Tuesday night. As she comes in, and she will get a strike. So they both get strikes in their first frame. Those of you who might remember Cassie If you watched high school bowling, she was a star bowler for Northeastern Clinton. One of only 2 girls to qualify all 6 years to the state tournament in the state. As Cassie comes up a little high, leaving just the 4-pin. As Cassie also bowled Thursday night in the Wyeth Women's League. As Cassie gets a spare on lane number 12. We might see Cassie in the Queen of the Hill. I'm not sure when the Queen of the Hill is.
Thursday.
Oh, it's this Thursday. Oh, right on the screen up top. Johnny working on a strike. Comes up light, leaving the 7-pin. This is a matchup between father and daughter. The winner of this match will move on to the finals against Jamie Sterling. The loser will receive $80 for 3rd place. Yeah, Johnny will make his spare. All the bowlers tonight paid $25 to enter. We had a prize pool of $460 to be divided up again between the 5 qualifiers. So John Roberts will move over to lane number 12, working on a spare, trailing by 21 pins. And trips the 4-pin, so he gets a strike in his 3rd frame. Now Cassie Roberts will be up on lane 11 for her 3rd frame. And Cassie cross over and she will strike.
Hey, it runs in the family.
So she'll move over to lane number 12, working on a strike, leading by 21 pins. So Cassie comes in, leaves a solid 10-pin. As they're having a lot of fun in their match here. I think just about everybody is probably rooting for Cassie to win. As Cassie goes for her 10-pin and she will convert. So she spares in the 4th frame. John Roberts will be up on lane 11 for his 4th frame, working on a strike. As Johnny comes in heavy, leaving the 4-7. Johnny goes for his spare and he will convert. So scratch, they're dead even after 3 frames, but again Cassie gets 21 pins. So she leads in this match. Johnny waiting for his bowling ball to come back. And she'll move over to lane 12 for the 5th frame. And he leaves a solid 10-pin.
I heard that noise back here. Don't take that shot at me. I heard that.
Johnny will go cross lanes to get his spare, and he gets it. And I don't think they were too sure about that, but it stayed on the lane to pick up his spare. And I'll bring up Cassie Roberts on lane number 11, working on a spare. As Cassie comes right up on the head pin, getting 8 pins, leaving the 6-10. So after 4 completed frames, Cassie leads Johnny by 20 pins. Now Cassie will go cross lanes to try to pick up her spare.
Good job.
And she chops the 6 off the 10. So she gets 9 for the frame.
You're on a 10.
Now the lead has been cut in half. Cassie will try to regroup here on lane number 12. Start a 6 frame. And she comes up right in the pocket and gets a strike. So good comeback for Cassie. Again, the winner of this match will move on to face Jamie Sterling, our top qualifier this year. And the loser will receive $80 for third place. John Roberts strikes in the sixth frame. So now the lead has been cut to 9 pins, as they are both working on a strike in the 6th frame. So Johnny will be up on lane 12 for his 7th frame. And he comes up a little light, but he gets his strike. So now Cassie will try to match him on lane number 11 for her 7th frame. As Cassie comes up high, leaving the 6-10 again. That was the spare she just chopped on that lane a few minutes ago. So she'll try to make a little bit of adjustment to pick up the spare this time and to stay in the match. And she almost chopped it again, but she gets her spare. So now it's just about a dead even match. But John Roberts is on a double, so he has the advantage right now. As Cassie's up on lane number 12, and she leaves a solid 10 pin.
I still got a big one. It's in my one. It's different. It's a digital though, like this one.
Cassie will go for her 10 pin across lanes, and she picks it up. So she spares in the 8th frame. John Roberts will be up on lane 11 for his 8th frame, working on a double, having the chance to take the lead in the match. And he crosses over and gets a Brooklyn strike. So with that strike, John Roberts takes the lead in the match. So he'll move over to lane number 12 for the 9th frame. As Johnny's waiting for his ball to come back.
Gotta use Cassie's ball now.
Yeah, you gotta use my ball this turn.
Okay, we're back. John Roberts is up on lane 12 after getting his ball back. Working on 3 in a row. And comes up and hits a perfect shot to get 4 in a row. So now Cassie Roberts will be up on lane number 11 for her 9th frame, trailing in the match by a few pins. As she puts one right in the pocket, and she gets a strike. Strike that she needed, as she will now move over for the 10th frame on lane number 12. As the best Cassie can do is throw 206 if she strikes out. Right now she trails in the match by about 15 or 20 pins. And Johnny will move over and he'll bowl his 10th frame on lane 11. Pretty much all he has to do is keep the ball in the lane, I believe. And he gets 7 pins. As Cassie will spare. Gives her 166. As this match is over. Johnny will spare it up, so he'll move on to the finals against Jamie Sterling, and Cassie Roberts will receive $80 for third place. And so she ends up with 9, giving her a 185, which is 206 with her handicap. And John Roberts finishing up his game. Comes up high, getting 8, giving him a 224. So he beats Cassie 224 to 206, and we'll be right back with the championship match.
It's all fair game.
We are ready for our championship match, as Jamie Sterling, our top qualifier, starts the match with a strike on lane 11. Jamie is getting 25 pins from John Roberts, as Jamie bowls in the Tuesday night Pepsi-Cola Classic League. He was our top qualifier with a 941. So he was just ahead of Cassie by 9, who had 939. John Roberts on lane number 12, and he gets a strike. So he'll move over to lane 11 for the second frame, as they both start off with a strike. And the loser of this match will receive $120. The winner will receive $180 and be this year's King of the Hill. And again, Johnny's waiting for his bowling ball to come back. So we'll be right back. And we're back as John Roberts is up on lane 11 for his second frame, working on a strike, and he crosses over, leaving the 6 pin. Again, Johnny has a 200 average in the Pepsi-Cola Classic League on Tuesday night. Jamie Sterling's average is 172 in the same league. And he will cross over to pick up the 6 pin. So now Jamie will be up on lane number 12, working on a strike. And he gets the ball a little too far to the outside, getting 4 pins, leaving the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
I didn't want to let you get away from me.
Which didn't really hurt him because he's working on a strike, as long as he can pick up his spare. Jamie chops, getting 5 of the 6, getting 9 for the frame. So he has 28 after 2 frames. And now he'll be up on lane 11, working on an open. And he comes in the pocket and trips out the 7, getting a strike for his third frame. And now John Roberts will be up on lane number 12 for his third frame. And he comes up high, leaving the 4 pin. Well, Johnny has picked up 11 pins in this match, so he trails by 14. Johnny will try to convert to 4 pin. And he will. So he'll switch lanes over to lane 11 for the 4th frame. Again, this being the last year for the Ross's Point Men's Association. All of the bowlers in the association would like to thank Bill Conley, our secretary-treasurer, who was our secretary-treasurer for over 50 years, I believe. And we'd like to thank him for his many, many years of service. John Roberts comes in heavy, leaving just the 4 pin. As now, since everyone is part of one association, the men and the women, as all the bowlers here in Ross's Point merged with Chateauguay, Keysville, and Plattsburgh, it is now, we are now called the Northern Adirondack. John Roberts is on lane 11. And he'll pick up his spare, as we're now called the Northern Adirondack Bowling Association. Jamie Sterling will be up on lane 12, working on a strike here in the championship match, and comes right up on the head pin, leaving the 4, 6, 7. Jamie will probably try to get 2 of the 3 pins for count. And that's what he'll do. He'll get 2 of the 3 pins. So that gives him 9 for the frame. So now this is pretty close to an even match. Jamie holds a slight lead. Jamie working on an open, trying to bring it back. We'll cross over here and get a strike. So he strikes in the 5th frame. So this year in Rouse's Point, we had Dave Miller, who bowled a 299 this year. He had the high game in our association. John Roberts will be up on lane number 12, and he comes up and gets a strike. So after 4 completed frames, John Roberts has picked up 22 pins, so he trails by 3, and they are both working on a strike in the 5th frame. Again, Dave Miller had the high game in the association with a 299. Congratulations to him. John Roberts working on a strike. And he will cross over, and he will get a strike. So he doubles up. So now Jamie will be up on lane number 12, working on a strike, trying to keep his 3-pin lead. And he comes up, puts it right in the pocket, leaving a 4-pin. So now John Roberts has the lead in the match. And Jamie will cross it over the lane, and he'll get a spare. So now he trails in the match by 7 pins. Johnny is working on a double. Jamie is working on a spare. We start the 7th frame. Jamie puts one right in the pocket and trips out the 10. So he keeps the pressure on John Roberts, who now up on lane number 12, working on a double. As he puts it right in the pocket and triples up. So John Roberts has now taken a 17-pin lead in this match. And he gets up on 11, working on a 3-bagger, and gets 4 in a row. Johnny is moved ahead by 27 pins in the match. Jamie's working on a strike on. As he goes up on lane 12, and he crosses over and gets a strike, so it trims the lead down, back down to 17. Now Jamie try to get a 3-bagger here, going into the 10th frame. Keep his chances alive in the match, and he puts one right in the pocket and gets a strike. So now it's back down to a 7-pin lead. We got a close match here. Again, the winner will receive $180 and be this year's King of the Hill. The loser will receive $120. Jamie comes in, Johnny comes in and gets a strike, giving him 5 in a row. Now John Roberts is up in 10th frame. If he does not strike on this ball, Jamie Sterling can still win this match. And he gets 9 pins. So the best John Roberts can do is 237. If Jamie Sterling strikes out, he shoots 216. But with his handicap, he will win the match. So Johnny will pick up his spare. So Johnny has 217 in the ninth. If he strikes here, it's 237. But with that spare, Jamie Sterling must double in the 10th frame. If he does, he will be the king of the hill. If he doesn't, John Roberts will. Johnny strikes in the 10th on his last ball, giving him 237. Excellent night of bowling for Johnny. So now it's all up to Jamie Sterling. A double wins the match. He throws his first ball, comes up light, or excuse me, right on the head pin, leaving the 3-6. So that'll do it. And John Roberts will be the 2005-2006 King of the Hill. Jamie Sterling will finish it up here. And gets his spare. So he'll get one more ball in the 10th frame. Very good night for Jamie. He bowled very well, even into this match. With a strike here, he'll shoot 194. And he goes up and he will strike. Gives him 194, 229 with his handicap. So John Roberts defeats Jamie Sterling in the finals, 237 to 229. And John Roberts is this year's King of the Hill. Okay, we're back here as we give out the first place prize money to John Roberts, this year's 2005-2006 King of the Hill. Congratulations, Johnny, an excellent night of bowling.
Thank you, Mr. Bly.
And your first place of $180. Congratulations.
Thank you, Calvin Bell.
And thank you to Calvin Castine and Hometown Cable for coming up and videotaping the King of the Hill as he does every year. And he'll be here again Thursday night for the Queen of the Hill. And don't forget to support Hometown Cable.
And here's our donation.
Well, thank you very much, John.
Okay.
Everybody wins. And that will wrap it up here from the Bowl Mart on this Tuesday, the second day of May 2006. And we appreciate Chris Welch for handling the microphone, and congratulations to John Roberts, the owner here at the Bowl Mart, who is once again the king of the hill at his own establishment. Thanks for watching, and for those of you who, like John Roberts, support Hometown Cable's continuing efforts.
I'm going to have it all year.